Welcome to Trading Up Special Edition, where we give you an inside look at job opportunities and the possibility to trade up your lifestyle. Probably one of the toughest decisions we make is what career path to follow, whether fresh out of high school or in a career that isn't quite what you expected or perhaps facing a job loss. What are your options? You could just immediately enter the workforce. Many today are hiring with no experience necessary. Maybe a 4-year or more college degree is your path to a chosen profession. Or yet another option might be to take advantage of one of the many skilled trades being offered. What if I told you you could start a career that pays you as you learn? Yes, earn a living wage as you gain experience and knowledge on the job. Well, on this episode of Trading Up Special Edition, we are going to Ironworkers Local 55, an advanced training facility with a rich history in not only building many of the area's landmark structures, but building careers as well. We'll meet an apprentice currently in the training program and working in the field, and a journeyman who gives us true insight into what it's like being an ironworker. But first, let's learn a little bit about the history of Ironworkers Local 55 and what the training facility can offer you as a candidate.
I'm Rob Monak from Ironworkers Local 55, workforce development, organizing, as well as business development. We chartered in 1903. This is our 120th year. We chartered in April of 1903. We are the International Association of Bridge, Structural, Ornamental, and Reinforcing Ironworkers. And we are, steeped in the arts of Northwest Ohio for 120 years. Our ironworkers' scope of work, obviously, is structural steel, the reinforcing, the ornamental side, which is your handrail, your glass work, from large, heavy industrial projects down to school projects to the first piece of rebar placed into the ground. So our scope of work is diverse, pre-engineered metal buildings, to the industrial maintenance side, custom rigging and welding, a lot of layers to what we do as an organization as far as our scope and the contractors that we serve as well. So you have to be able to do all of it, throughout your journey as an ironworker, and they're learning the entire time. So truth be told, we'd rather have a candidate come to us as green as they are, and we'll coach them and mold them to what the scope requires. Being a high school graduate, what does becoming an ironworker mean to you? First and foremost, it means opportunity, no matter what. And it's a good living wage. It's a good reason to stay here in Northwest Ohio. You don't have to migrate out to find what you need to find. If you really take a look around, it's here. So it offers opportunity to make that good wage and really to be able to take a look over your shoulder and say, I was part of these projects. These are long-standing projects that you get a chance to be in on from ground up to completion. But it's opportunity. It really is opportunity, and a good living wage for a young person coming out of high school. You'd be hard-pressed to name too many employers around the city of Toledo who can fast-track your career and your wages that match that, beyond our apprenticeship. An apprentice is a young candidate, either fresh out of school or has been out in the workforce and has decided to join our organization. Our apprentices have to test in. They take what's called a differential aptitude test. They do 3 things to get in: the aptitude test, a physicality test, and then a situational interview. So based on their score, we compress that and rank them. And based on the demand and the workload, then we invite a certain amount of candidates into the apprenticeship program. As an ironworker, you're up in the air working. It's not natural to be off the ground working, whether you're 40 foot or 400. It takes, again, those repetitions to have your belt on, be safe, obviously, first and foremost. It takes time, and we coach our candidates and our journeymen as well. In addition to the working in heights is the weather. It's hot when it's hot, it's cold when it's cold, and stuff's still got to get done. So we call it work-wise. You got to get work-wise to that. You got to know how to navigate with your gear on, your tool belt, your Carhartts, or whether it's 100 degrees out, staying hydrated, staying fit, making sure that you've got what you need to get throughout the day, because you got to do it again the next day. So what kind of person's coming to that job the next day is up to you. And we need the best. We need someone who's got their wits about them, got their faculties about them. When you've got a piece of iron coming in at a high rate of speed, better be fit for duty and prepared for that and know what to do with it. So Local 55's training facility, it's not a museum. It's a well-used facility, and you can tell when you look around here. This is a practice facility. This is where you tune up. We'd rather have a kid succeed and or fail back here than out in the field. So as you saw outside, that's our mock-up structure for our structural classes. So they'll take a set of blueprints, approved blueprints. They'll spend time up with our instructors. They'll go over things. They'll get their list together for the day. They'll take that structure from an organized pile of iron. They'll appoint a foreman, raising gang foreman, and then they'll put that structure up, get it bolted up, get it plumb level and square, use the instrumentations that they're learning here and out in the field to shoot that in, and do that mock-up. And that mock-up includes bar joist, open web joisting, includes traditional conventional structural steel. There's actually 2 buildings when you look at it, your first and your second floor, so they've got to learn those splice plates, how you plumb 2 different stories in, the specs that are involved with that as well. Our advantage is a building trades union. There's a lot of layers to that, but first and foremost is a vote. You vote on your officers, your wages, your benefits. So our total money package is a JIW, Journeyman Ironworkers, $60.86 an hour. That's your total package. That's your wages, $33 an hour on the check. The rest is your benefit package. So you've got 2 retirements. You've got a pension, which is almost a whisper in today's day and age. When our parents were coming up, you had a good pension. We've also got our annuity/401k, 100% employer paid health insurance, which again, in today's day and age is very rare, and we fight hard for that. But that whole total package that you vote on as a journeyman, you get to vote on your wages, which is huge. Having a voice in the direction of the ship is great, but that's a good living wage, and we go through wage negotiations every year, and they're voted on. Another huge advantage of being part of a union beyond the voting is a 120-year legacy. So when someone says, "Oh, you're an iron worker," you'll get a lot of eyebrows raised, because chances are somebody knows somebody who's been an iron worker, who's been part of a project. So there's history there, but the good living wages and benefits, it allows for a person to be a productive member of their community rather than a social burden. There's a difference when you've got discretionary spending ability, even where you choose to buy your food and how you participate in your community rather than being a social burden. And again, that ties back into that living wage. So there's a huge push for diversity in ironwork. Zoe is one of our apprentices, knocking it out of the park. She's picking up the craft, picking up the different skill sets that match what she's doing right now. And you look at a cohort of the women that are part of our organization, they're pretty tough. They're also pretty smart. And a lot of times when you have someone like that, you just have to give them what they need, guide them along the way, and get out of their way. Feed them the tools, feed them the knowledge, and let them go. And then they come in, they get tuned up here, and go back out and get even better at it. And she'll be that person.
Coming up on Trading Up Special Edition, we'll meet apprentice ironworker Zoe and hear of both the challenges and rewards she has encountered in her training at Local 55. But first, let's test your knowledge with Trading Up Trivia. Earlier, we showed you Local 55 trainees assembling a mock structure. What's the name of the tool an ironworker uses to line up holes that are to be bolted? Is it A, a slider, B, a spud wrench, C, a hole shifter, or D, a bolt buddy? We'll be back with the answer after this.
The bridges you cross, the school your kid attends, the office where you work, the community you live in. The hands of the Ironworkers Local 55 have built much of our towns. These members are your friends and neighbors, local men and women forging their own neighborhoods. Over the last century and for the centuries to come, they will continue to build and reshape our cities. Ironworkers Local 55, building better, building stronger, building communities.
Welcome back. Before the break, we asked, what is the name of the tool an ironworker uses to line up holes that are to be bolted? Do you think you have the right answer? If you answered B, a spud wrench, you're correct. Probably one of the more useful tools, the spud wrench helps coax even the largest pieces into alignment so the bolts will fit through. Your path to becoming an ironworker begins with an apprenticeship. As an apprentice ironworker, you earn as you learn. Not only are you given hands-on expert instruction, you're also given a paycheck. Zoe is a local 55 apprentice who is finding the rewards of her decision to become an ironworker far outweigh the challenges.
I'm Zoe Vogelpool, and I'm a second-year apprentice ironworker. In high school, I always thought I was going to go into nursing, so I just had all my classes oriented towards doing that. And then I graduated in 2020, and then, everything happened, coronavirus, like we were shut down, I couldn't go out. So it gave me a lot of time to think. And I was like, I don't think this is what I'm meant to do. I don't think this is what I'm going to be happy doing. And my father's an ironworker, so he's like, well, how about you give this a try? Try like welding was what I first started with, was just a component of being an ironworker. And I really loved it. It was just something I fell in love with doing. It was like an art. And I was like, I don't think I want to stop here. I don't want to just do welding. And he's like, well, go talk to the hall. They have testing coming up soon. Like, it's getting warmer. And so I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And I took the DAT test, which is like, you come in, it's just like a basic skills test, gauging where you're at. And I didn't know how I was gonna do. I was kind of confident in myself. I was like, it came easy to me. But I was like, I'm not going to be too heartbroken over it if I don't pass. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And then I got the call that I had passed. I made great scores and that they wanted me to come to the physical. And so I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, I made it past that first part. And then it's like, I'm scared for this physical, because I can't say I'm the strongest person, but I was excited for it. And I was like, I'm gonna just do my best. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions and see what I can do. And then took the physical, and there was an interview portion. And I think it was like a week or so later, they gave me the call, and they're like, you're in the union. And they scheduled, we had a week orientation, and it's all been great since then. Like, I went up to my first job. I was working in a fabrication shop, and I learned a lot about rods. That's when I was first doing rods. And then recently I've actually been able to work with my dad over in structural. It's just been super fun. I've just really enjoyed it. I think it's something that if you don't know where you're going in life, just to try it. My grandfather, he was a boilermaker. My uncle is a pipe fitter. There's so much more family that is just in it, but they've all supported me since the start, and they were just so proud of me to do it. And they were like, we expected your brother to be doing this, but it's awesome that you're doing it. Like, it's amazing, and I'm part of that family. It just kind of makes us a little closer. I worked as a waitress before this, and I wasn't really enjoying myself. I wasn't making as much money as I wanted to, and I was like, I don't want to do this for much longer. But when I started here, I enjoy going to work. I want to wake up. I just get up at that time every day now, even through the weekends, and I have more time for myself. And I've been making more money, which is great. I never thought I would be making this much, even to only be making 70% of a journeyman right now. I've been able to, I bought myself a dog as a gift to myself, and I love him very much, and I've been able to spoil him with the things that I wouldn't think I would be able to do working as a waitress or a manager somewhere else. So the schooling is a 4-year program it's a mix of on-the-job training and in school training, classes and stuff like that. So you're required about 5,600 hours of on-the-job training. So that's when they try to send you out to a job within the moment you get there. Within that first week, they're trying to set up a job for you outside. And it's a lot. You're expected to try to learn as much as you can. Like I said, you get paired up with a journeyman who's supposed to show you what's going on. And then we come into these classes, which are kind of core classes of teaching you the basics and the other parts of being an ironworker. So we have a reinforcing classes, we have welding classes, structural steel classes, detailing and things like that. It's very much a mix. You're mostly in the field working and relying on our journeymen to teach us. We pay tuition once yearly, but it can be split up twice into 2 payments. But it's $400 a year, which is very doable considering going to college and paying $5,000 a semester. I came here expecting to be paying so much, and they're like, no, it's only $400 per year. And I was like, well, can I pay it all right now? But It's super easy. They want you to do well. Even if you're having trouble with money, they work with you for that, and they make sure that you're able to do it. And we have a great healthcare plan. It's one of the main things I was so excited about, is that I would be able to take care of myself and hopefully my family in the future with this amazing health plan. And they want us to use it, and they teach us from the start how important it is and what to do and how to use it correctly to our benefit. You know, you go in, you see everyone, you get a rundown from your foreman telling you what to do today. Usually will tell us to go off on our own, and then like if it's something new that I haven't tried before, like as an apprentice, you're usually paired up with a journeyman, and they'll teach you the like how to do things, show you the ropes, and it's just it's work, it's busy, and that's what I love. It's just you're never standing around, and even if you are, you're learning something, they're showing you something. They want you to do good, they want you to perform well, and they want the union to prosper. They want to make good workers so we can keep going.
The bridges you cross, the school your kid attends, the office where you work, the community you live in. The hands of the Ironworkers Local 55 have built much of our towns. These members are your friends and neighbors, local men and women forging their own neighborhoods. Over the last century and for the centuries to come, they will continue to build and reshape our cities. Ironworkers Local 55, building better, building stronger, building communities.
Local 55's journeymen play an important role in guiding you throughout your apprenticeship.
I'm Brett Fitzwater, a journeyman ironworker out of Toledo Local 55. I wanted to become an ironworker because I kind of needed more money and the benefits as I was getting ready to get off my parents' insurance, and I was only working residential construction, maybe $12, $13 an hour at the time, and I just needed to make the change, and my buddy talked me into it. So the apprenticeship took me 4 years. Pretty easy. I think they do 5 weeks out of the whole year. You'll go to class for a week straight, and the rest of it you're out in the field learning all the tricks of the trade and everything. Class, it's all easy. It's all, do your homework online, and then you basically go into class and they just refresh that with you and teach you more stuff. The journeyman offer the apprentice guidance, I would say. You get an apprentice, especially we've got a couple of new guys here, they don't know anything, but you just gotta take them with you and explain things to them and keep an eye on them, and if you see them doing something wrong or something not the best way, just give them a little bit of guidance and advice on how to do things. Everything is, it's got its own pace. Like when you're setting, it's a little bit faster paced. Sheeting's pretty fast paced. When you get on some bridges, it can be a little bit slower waiting on the crane and stuff, but it's a pretty easy day. And everything we do to me, it's easy, but you just gotta sometimes slow down and think about what you're doing and get it done. Ironworkers are kept safe by all the safety that companies put into their jobs, whether it's safety netting or the retracts, the harnesses we wear, helmets, glasses, gloves, and the training. They do spend, at least Foundation Steel, we will spend money on training for safety and whatnot. It has financially benefited me in the fact that I've had 2 kids in the last 3 years, and we haven't paid, I think our last bill for last kid was $17,000, and I didn't pay any of that. Any medical, $15 copay, and usually it covers just about everything. Just the pay itself, so I think I started at probation, I started at $21 an hour. That was quite a bump from what I was receiving before, and you see the impact right away. And then as you progress through your apprenticeship and into a journeyman, you get your pay bumps, and $3 an hour, it makes a big difference. Skill sets need to be an iron worker. You need to have a good work ethic. The way I can relate to sports is you want to be coachable almost. You want to be able to take in information and understand that. If you don't know, ask. Just be willing to learn, really. At the end of the day, I'm most proud of that I come to work and I get to build something. It's something that, like, if I drive past it, I can look at it and be like, I helped build that, or I did that, you know, and I just go to work and do my job.
The bridges you cross, the school your kid attends, the office where you work, the community you live in. The hands of the Ironworkers Local 55 have built much of our towns. These members are your friends and neighbors, local men and women forging their own neighborhoods. Over the last century and for the centuries to come, they will continue to build and reshape our cities. Ironworkers Local 55, building better, building stronger, building communities.
So, what do you think? Is being an ironworker for you? If you're 18 years old, have a high school diploma or a GED certificate, a valid driver's license, and you're able to pass a drug test, you already have the basic requirements met. As Zoe pointed out, consider the cost. Only $400 a year compared to what you would pay or maybe continue to pay if you'd have taken out a loan for a 4-year college degree. Plus, you get paid substantially, all while building your career. Just look at today's wages and benefits. For more information or to apply for an apprenticeship, check out local55trainingcenter.com or call 419-382-3080. A new and rewarding career awaits you.
Being an ironworker is not just a male-dominated trade. It was for decades. It is not. It is an untapped resource for diversity, equity, inclusion. If you can do the work, if you can show up on time every day, bust your butt for your contractor, there is no wage discrimination. There's none of that. Your wage is your wage. That's voted on, and then you earn it out in the field. Male, female, black, white, doesn't matter. Show up, earn your paycheck, hold your head high, and do it again.
I would say just listen to the voice in your head and do it. I really believe that anyone can do it. And I mean, when I say anyone, I mean anyone with the mindset that even through failure, you can still do it. You want to try again. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you think, if it's in there, try it. There's so many people here who will answer any question that you have and will help you, push you through it to do it, that it becomes easy. And you want to do it. Like I want to do this more than ever, even more than I did when I started.
Yeah, I probably would do a trade because you get out of high school, you don't know what you're doing, you go get in the trades and you're making money right away. You're not spending your time, you know, books, classes, all that. It puts you in a big hole. And I think to join a trade, especially because it's needed, there's not a lot of people doing it anymore and it's hard to find good help. So yeah, it's the money and everything, it's all good.
Step up. Now is a great time to get in, you know, build better, build stronger, and build your community. Step up, come see us. Hit the top.